The ending of Pluribus episode 9 didn't feel like an ending at all. It felt more like the show stopped mid-thought, leaving us staring at the screen asking one simple question. What did we just watch? No clear answers, no big explanation. Just silence, strange choices, and a final moment that felt deeply uncomfortable. And that discomfort was not an accident. The final scene of Pluribus episode 9 is quiet, slow, and unsettling. There is no dramatic music telling you how to feel. No character explaining what just happened. Instead, the episode ends in a way that feels empty on purpose. This is exactly why so many viewers were confused. We are used to endings that explain themselves. This one refuses to do that. What makes the ending so shocking is not what happens, but what doesn't happen. There is no clear victory. There is no clear loss. The characters reach a point where a decision is made, but the show never gives us emotional release. We are left watching faces instead of actions, silence instead of dialogue, and stillness instead of movement. It feels wrong, almost incomplete, and that feeling stays with you after the screen goes black. Many viewers expected episode 9 to wrap things up, or at least point clearly toward the future. Instead, it pulls the ground out from under us. The final moments suggest that something very important has changed, but the show refuses to tell us exactly what that change means. This creates frustration, but also curiosity. The audience is forced to think instead of being told. Another reason the ending feels confusing is because it breaks the rhythm of the show. Earlier episodes used conversations, conflicts, and clear cause-and-effect storytelling. But the ending of episode 9 slows everything down. Time feels stretched. Every look, every pause, every breath feels important, yet nothing is explained. This makes viewers feel like they missed something, even when they didn't. The most disturbing part is how normal everything looks on the surface. There is no chaos, no explosions, no dramatic confrontation. Life seems to go on as usual, and that is what makes it scary. The show is quietly telling us that something is deeply wrong, but it does so without raising its voice. This is why the ending divided the audience. Some people thought it was lazy or unclear. Others felt it was powerful but couldn't explain why. The truth is, the confusion is the hook. The creators wanted you to feel uneasy, uncertain, and slightly disturbed. Because before we can understand what the ending means, we first have to sit with how it feels, and that feeling is not accidental at all. To understand the ending of Pluribus episode 9, we first need to slow everything down and look at what actually happens without adding theories or emotions. When you strip away the confusion, the ending becomes clearer than it first appears. In the final sequence, the story reaches a point where all major tension quietly settles instead of exploding. The characters arrive at a shared moment where no one argues anymore. This is important. Conflict does not end because it is solved. It ends because everyone stops resisting. That silence is not peace. It is surrender. One key detail many viewers missed is that no new information is revealed in the ending. Everything we see is built from ideas already shown earlier in the episode. The difference is that now, the characters accept those ideas instead of questioning them. This acceptance is shown through body language, long pauses, and a lack of reaction. The show uses faces instead of words to communicate what is happening. Another important moment is the final decision that is implied, but never spoken out loud. The show never says, "This is the choice," but visually it makes it clear. The characters remain where they are. No one walks away. No one fights back. Staying still becomes the decision. That stillness signals agreement, even if it feels uncomfortable. The setting also plays a major role in explaining what happens. Everything looks controlled, clean, and ordinary. This is not random. The creators want to show that control does not always look violent or loud. Sometimes it looks calm, organized, and reasonable. That calm environment hides the fact that something very serious has just been accepted. One of the most telling moments is the absence of consequences on screen. We never see immediate results of the decision. There is no punishment, no reward, no instant change. This is frustrating for viewers, but it is intentional. The show is telling us that the real consequences are long-term, not instant. The ending is not about what happens next, but about what has already been allowed to happen. The final shot brings all of this together. It holds for just a little too long, forcing the audience to sit in the moment. By ending this way, the episode confirms one thing clearly. The system, the idea, or the structure and control has won this round. Not through force, but through quiet agreement. So when you look at the ending closely, nothing is missing. The show did not forget to explain itself. It chose not to. Episode 9 ends the way it does because the story is no longer about action. It is about acceptance. And that realization is far more unsettling than any dramatic twist. Now that we understand what actually happened, the real question is why the ending was shown this way. This is where Pluribus Episode 9 becomes much deeper than it first appears. The ending is not meant to explain the story. It is meant to explain an idea. At its core, the ending is about control, but not the kind we usually see on screen. There's no villain giving orders. No one is forced at gunpoint. Instead, control comes from agreement. The show is exploring what happens when people slowly stop questioning something, not because they believe in it, but because resisting feels pointless. The title Pluribus gives us a big clue. It comes from the idea of many becoming one. Throughout the series, we see characters with different opinions, fears, and doubts. But in the ending, those differences fade. Not because they are resolved, but because they are no longer expressed. The ending shows unity, but it is a quiet, hollow kind of unity. One powerful symbol in the final moments is repetition. The setting looks familiar. The routine feels normal. This repetition suggests a cycle. The show is saying that this moment has happened before and will happen again. Nothing truly changes because the system survives by staying comfortable and familiar. People accept it because it feels easier than fighting it. Another hidden meaning lies in the lack of emotion. Characters do not react the way we expect. There is no anger, no tears, no relief. This emotional flatness shows exhaustion. The characters are not convinced. They are tired. And the show makes a strong point here. Tired people are easier to control than angry ones. The ending also reflects a larger message about society. It asks a disturbing question. How much freedom do people give up just to feel safe, included, or normal? The final scene suggests that freedom is rarely taken all at once. It is slowly handed over, choice by choice, silence by silence. Even the absence of dialogue has meaning. By removing words, the show removes debate. No debate means no resistance. The silence becomes a symbol of consent. This is why the ending feels so heavy. It shows a moment where speaking up still seems possible, but no one does. So the hidden meaning of Episode 9's ending is not about a plot twist or secret reveal. It is about a warning. A warning that the most dangerous systems do not look evil. They look reasonable, calm, normal, and by the time people realize what they have accepted, it already feels too late. That is why the ending stays with you. It is not shocking because of what you see. It is shocking because of what it suggests about us. The ending of Pluribus Episode 9 is not trying to close a chapter. It is trying to lock one in place. What happens in these final moments changes the direction of the story in a quiet but permanent way. From here on, nothing moves forward in the same way again. The biggest message going forward is that the true threat is no longer a single character or group. It is the mindset that has taken root. By the end of the episode, the system does not need to fight anyone anymore. It has already been accepted. This means future events will not be about stopping something obvious, but about living inside something that feels impossible to escape. The ending confirms that resistance, if it returns, will come at a much higher cost. Earlier in the story, characters could question, argue, and push back. Now, doing so would mean standing alone. The silence at the end shows that isolation has become the biggest weapon. When everyone else accepts the same idea, speaking out feels dangerous, even if nothing is physically stopping you. This also changes how we see the characters. Some viewers may think they failed. Others may think they made a smart choice to survive. The truth is more uncomfortable. The ending suggests that survival and surrender can look exactly the same. And the show wants the audience to struggle with that thought. Another important meaning is that the story is no longer driven by hope. It is driven by momentum. Things continue not because they are right, but because they are already moving. This is why the ending feels heavy instead of exciting. The future is not uncertain, it feels locked in. The final scene also challenges the audience directly. It asks whether we would have acted differently. Would we speak up when everyone else stays quiet? Or would we tell ourselves that staying silent is harmless? The show does not answer this question. It hands it to the viewer. This is why the ending feels so personal. It is not just about the world of Pluribus. It reflects real life. Systems do not collapse because people agree with them.